Uh,
Hello and good evening, Andy and Amanda. How are you this evening?
Warm,
Melting.
melting. We're like melting snowman at the moment, Colleen. Except there's no air at the moment now. It's just so warm.
Remember the Christmas when we filmed that video of the snowman and we made chocolate and we drowned him and made him melt? That's how I feel right now. I know how that snowman felt now.
Now, you're wondering, Colleen, what man's on about. Man, you better explain a bit more, hadn't you, about the olden days?
It was a Christmas present that Andy got me. It was last Christmas, wasn't it, I think? Or was it the Christmas before?
Before.
And it was a melting snowman and you put it in hot chocolate and you watch it melt.
That sounds really exciting.
Yeah, it seemed funny back then, but now I know how the snowman felt now.
Oh, yeah, it's been so warm today. You want to know what we got around here, Colleen? Amanda's obviously a keep fit regime at the moment, Amanda, aren't you? So
yeah. I've managed 3 miles, but
every day.
Yeah, it was very difficult.
Yeah, and she did what she did today, Colleen, was we were out this morning walking at 9:10 in the morning. Oh my god, it was 23 degrees at 10:09 around here in the morning. It was ridiculous.
It's going to get hotter apparently in August, isn't it?
Yeah, I've heard the same now, which is just what we want, isn't it? So not snow. I know, yeah. I've seen that said before. They call the forecast. So anyway, Colleen, what have you been up to this week then?
Oh my goodness, that's why I'm a bit late this evening to get on to the Zoom, because I was watching the Ghosts on the Underground. Before that, this is really spooky, because before that I was watching Scottish Ghost Town, Clune Park Estate.
Oh,
wasn't anything ghostly about it. It was just an abandoned area of housing because the shipyard workers had left the area, and so the school shut down in 2008 and the whole place has been abandoned, but the landlords won't let the council go ahead with not pulling down the derelict houses. The council wants them to stay and the private landlords don't, so there's the discussion going on for that. So there wasn't anything ghostly about it, but it looked really derelict and just depressing. Just, this whole area of housing that had nobody in it, just broken windows, but it's been safely secured. There's security guards around it. Suddenly,
that is a bit. Yeah, I see what you mean. What do you think about it? It's for me. Yeah, it's like you really think about it, Colleen. I do have a ghost story for you as well. But have you ever been up to where Anfield is, where Liverpool play the football ground?
Yeah.
Now, if you've been around Anfield, I've been through it, never been to the ground. But and then not everyone in Liverpool listens to that. Please don't take this to heart. It is quite a rundown part of Liverpool where that is, and it's bizarre because you think really it's in the middle. In the middle of it is a massive cash cow, massive cash generating machine. And it's in the around it for miles is a really rundown part of Liverpool. So it's just same sort of thing. It's very, very spooky. So right, do you want another ghost story, Colleen?
Yeah. So then I suddenly saw this video and it really spooked me out. That spooked me out already. Ghosts on the Underground. So Liverpool Street, massive grave of bodies there. There's always like something spooky happening there. Bank Station. One drop was to it's really it has a spookiness about it, and also the video mentioned that the door backs onto a crypt. Kennington, the doors the doors are banging, and then the staff found out 4 years later that 4 years later after the doors had banged that there was something quite sinister happen to a lady. Then Stockwell and Kennington, you've got Northern Line, it's they've seen a lot of ghosts around. So one staff member's seen an image of a woman, long blonde hair, no face, and he went to another staff upstairs because he couldn't go back down after that night. And the other staff said, "Looks like you've seen a ghost," and he said, "Yes, I did." And the other staff said, "It wasn't a lady with long hair, was it?" And he said, "Yes, it was." So both of them have seen it. Then they bring in an expert on with the electronic Google Meister. I think it's a Guggenheimer or something, where they detect any strange noises or frequencies, and they found that Bank, he's been to all these places to see what the frequency of the Guggenheimer was. So then one has seen like a man with a Tilly lamp, and he thought it was another worker. So when he went back to the station after walking through the tunnels, because every night they have to walk through the tunnels, and some of them have seen like a person, people with Tilly lamps or someone walking down the steps. And the other person would say that a man with a Tilly lamp was there in the 1840s, and then another was there in around 1950s, and he still thinks he's working on the underground. So there's ghosts coming back thinking they're still working there. And another one where there's so many different ones. You've got District Line as well. There's Covent Garden. No, I thought it was Charing Cross, where an actor was seen in the Charing Cross station, but I didn't know Covent Garden had one. In 1897, an actor, William Torres, was, had an unpleasant happening there. So then you've got actors coming back in the 1800s, and it's not just believers. Like these staff members don't believe in ghosts. They do not. But one was so spooked out when he saw a lady in black, and he chased after her, and she suddenly disappeared. So he told his staff to look at all the videos at the time, and none of them had recorded a lady running into the tunnel. He later found out that she was still looking for her brother, who had an unpleasant meeting, at that time. So she's still there. And then you've got Bethnal Green. There's noises, like children's noises, like the staff heard it, and he couldn't work there after that or something, but he couldn't take the noise of the children screaming. And he later found out that in 1731, there were not in 1731, but 173 people were there, including children, in an accident in the train. So that was in the, I think, 1800s, I think. But so many things happening. And I'm going to tell you something at the end of this. So Bakerloo Line, you see a reflection of a man. Oh yeah, Bakerloo Line. If you go on the Bakerloo Line, you'll see a reflection of a man. And it turns out that he was, he had an unpleasant happening there as well. And then, there's another one. This one's so spooky. This lady was told by her relative to take a photo of the underground just for him, just to have a look at, because he's not from London, he's from the outside of London. So she took a photo for some reason of this child with his camera. And the reason why this photo was really just made news and went viral was in that behind in the reflection behind the child was the man. We're talking about Madame Tussauds and the Chambers of Horrors, in that when I was about 10, my parents, my mum, my stepdad and our relatives went to Madame Tussauds, and I saw the Chambers of Horrors, and I saw him. I recognized him from, obviously you can't not remember that face of the man strapped in the electric chair called Bruno Hausmann. And I know the face because I remember saying, gosh, he's got a really waxy, like bumpy face, like there's a little bit of bumpiness on his cheeks. I think it was just like, like spots not clearing. And so she took a photo of him, of the photo that she took of the child had a reflection of that Bruno Hausmann. And some experts have tried to look at the photo and say it must be a poster behind the mirror or on the wall, on the train wall. And Madame Tussauds wrote back to the photographer who was inspecting the photo, said there was no posters or flyers at the time when he mentioned, but I do remember that face. And she went to Madame Tussauds to have a look at that person in an electric chair, and it was in exactly the same straps. Anyway, one day she went to somewhere she's with somebody, or maybe she was standing next to a stall where a medium was, and the medium said, "I need to have a word with you," and she said, "I'm not in the line to come and see you," and he said, "No, I've got a message for you," and the message is, I was accused of doing something that I didn't do, but I did something else. So I think he actually came back to tell her that it was him, and that he was trying to give her a message that he was blamed for something he didn't commit. And that's Bruno Hausmann in the Madame Tussauds. I've seen it when I was about 10. I remember, like, a while back I was telling you that I went to the Chambers of Horrors when I was about that age, and Madame Tussauds, and that bit made me feel a little bit not well. To end this really spooky drama where we couldn't even get on Zoom, as I say, something always happens when we talk about this, but every time I go on this certain platform in the underground, in Stockwell and Kennington, where I mentioned Stockwell and Kennington, where there's quite a few ghosts, I feel there's something pushing me towards the rails, and it's really scary. It's like there's something there that's all three of them, these 3 platforms, nowhere else, just these 3 platforms. Something pushes you or pushes me towards the rails. I think there's something must have happened a long time ago on these 3 platforms. I must find out what if anything had happened in the other one that I won't mention. But Stockwell and Kennington, definitely, there's something not quite right there. It really feels, I don't say chilly, I wouldn't say chilly, but it feels really intense. It's like a cloud of something just really struggling against you that's causing some kind of atmospheric unpleasantness. Yeah.
Interesting, Colleen. Yeah, well, I said we're going to have to watch Everybody Wonders Tonight. There's going to be 2 episodes like this, because if you believe, Colleen, you've gone on for 13 minutes.
Oh my gosh. That's
yeah,
spooky.
I've got plenty on to talk about tonight. But it's very
yeah.
worth hearing, Amanda, wasn't it? So, but I will say something there was interesting about London Underground. I know this, because I know people have constructed parts of it. It's taught going on for years. You think it's several hundred years old, and it's built on blood. It was based. I've been told
that's exactly what I heard. Yeah, I've just read in the book, the video.
Yeah, that's what I've been talking about. Now, in the case of like Manchester, we've got our light underground system, Metrolink. That was only started being built in 1983, and you find with that's nowhere near as graphic as history as what London went through. London's was, oh my God, it was definitely pre-Victorian. So I know it's been standing for 700 years. And you think, really, when you look at the way it's all set out down there, it's quite intimidating itself. So there's someone not right down there. You
no, definitely not.
The stations.
Especially the 3 that I find really claustrophobic. It's really kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, but it really is suffocating. And you feel something's there, and you look at you turn around for no reason. You don't know what it is, but I'm like constantly looking around. It's really spooky.
Yeah. Have you ever been down there, Amanda?
No.
I feel like you actually have. You've been down at least once with me. You wouldn't have been down the more dingy, dark sides of it. Now, it's like it's. I don't know. All cities have got this sort of background in the public transport. There's something very dark and sinister. Now, what I want to ask Amanda about, obviously, what was Bradford like and the interchange growing up? Was it quite different to what you got now?
Yeah, it was a lot different. Like, there's only the one stand now, but there used to be about 5 or 6 different stands.
Do you know any stories about any rumour stories about accidents happening at the bus station or anything over the years?
No, not really. There's nothing I can think of.
I know if you're on Manchester, certainly, like it's if you ever go to Manchester, everybody, like if you ever go around the centre of it, the way the underground, where the Metrolink set up, it goes like at the same level as humans of people do. And it's very, very easy. Someone can get run down around there completely. Colleen, it's nearly 15 minutes already. So what we'll do, we'll stop it. So I've got more to talk about. Can we do a second?